money to have a facility.
Well, provide services that pay for that. Our tax level will have to be the same as what the county charges.
Oh, okay, I'll
But we can send someone to school
Yep.
and say,
Catch, yeah.
and fix.
Do that.
All on travel with all.
If you want to look into hiring the dog catcher,
Trapper,
trapper,
license.
Correct.
Or you could save the town money and then everyone just keep your dog.
well, that would be ideal if everybody kept their animals in their house, but unfortunately, that's not what's going on. And
A
it
lot of
hasn't
people
been
like
for
to
years.
dump
And a lot of people, yes, also like to dump their
On our
animals in this
roads.
town, unfortunately. It's
They
sad.
like turtles.
When the previous clerk got attacked by a dog, just going, delivering a notice to someone trying to help them pay the water bill. And got attacked, and she got beat up pretty bad, it was rough, it was horrible.
So at this point, I think we need to finally do something about it. So do I hear a motion that we hire a dog trapper?
I'll make a motion, we hire a dog trapper.
Do I hear a
Loud,
second?
get it,
Yeah.
Get it, Gail.
get it.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Microphone, she can hear.
Unanimous on that one? That will be so nice to be able to walk through the town.
They always say she didn't.
Okay, and, the AT&T phone service with the internet, there was a lot of wasted costs there. So I did call them up and they were offering 2 cell phone lines with internet for $169 a month, where we're currently paying over $500 a month right now for 2 internet lines and 2 business phone lines. However, they wouldn't hook them up because we can't prove we're a business. So we have to look more into another company, but for now, we canceled one of the lines and we canceled the other internet line. I'm not sure why they ever had the other internet line, because it was originally, from what I understand, supposed to be a public internet service, but they didn't like that the neighbors were using it. So they made it private, so it was just sitting there, not even in use, at $100 a month over a 3-year period. That was $3,600 that was wasted. The other phone line that was for faxes, which nobody even faxes, and it's not needed, $150 a month for over 3 years, $5,400 was wasted. So that was a total of $9,000 wasted. So in the meantime, one of the DSL lines was canceled and one of the phone lines has been canceled, and I'll continue to look for a service, I guess, outside of AT&T. So we've cut the cost in half for now. Yes?
May I ask a question? I don't know if this would be a consideration or not. Hopefully the attorney's listening on that. But you can go to Straight Talk.
Yes, someone did tell me about that this
You
week,
could
so
do
I do
that.
have a few things to look at.
And it's month to month, unlimited, and you get a box for $99. You have to own the box. And when you own the box, you now have month to month, unlimited, no time restraints. And you can renew it ahead of time and gain credit.
Yeah, yeah, I have
And
them
it's
on the
totally
list.
legal, business or residential. I have a system myself. I live in one of the worst areas there is for Straight Talk signal. And I get anywhere from 75 megabytes per second, if anybody knows anything about internet speed. And, huh?
Anything is better than what we currently have,
Well,
because we
I
have some
currently
really bad
was on,
internet.
AT&T, and I was only getting 6 megabytes per second, so you can see that.
We appreciate that.
Yeah,
I mean, you might want to consider it. It's totally
Oh,
legal.
yeah, I do have that on the list to look at this week.
We tried to get that, you're not taking,
Is it or not?
they
Okay.
don't have to yet.
How about I'll bring my box down here and we try?
Sure,
Welcome, come.
yeah. We can do that.
Soon.
Get on, let's look at, let's see what.
Yeah.
I'll buy a second one. You can have the second one.
We'll know right there, it's something to look into, it looks.
I'll be happy to do that. When's this workshop we're talking about?
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, 10 to 2.
Am I allowed to come in here
You
unannounced?
can,
You can.
you can, but you can't participate in any council
Oh,
conversation.
no, I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
That might get out of hand.
Now it's your
I
turn.
wouldn't want to do that.
This is about. We got some repairs we gotta do at both plants. Plant number one is obviously the motors we talked about earlier. I believe we talked about those because it was part of one of the deals that was outstanding. There is it's gonna take some redoing of some lines to get the pumps back in there and get them so they can't get air. The new pumps suck so much faster and so much more water than the old pumps that we had. It might even be, it's probably gonna expand into the actual tank that we're drawing the water out of isn't deep enough to create the cavitation of sucking air from the water, because these new pumps are pulling, I mean, like, it's like hooking a vacuum cleaner up into a big high-powered vacuum cleaner, sucking the water out of that tank. Have you ever seen it in a pool, how by the drain, it'll do a little whirlpool and it starts sucking air through there? So it's getting air through that. And we're not certain that how much air is coming from there. We're not certain for how much. There's a couple of leaks in the line, there could be some of those, we don't know. But replacing that line and getting it reset up will get that leak fixed and get the pumps lower so they're at least to the bottom of the tank level. So it gives us a little bit more gravitational level. The other side of this is the head pressure is so high on the pumps that the pumps themselves are separating the air out of the water. It's running so hard, because when it runs through the system, pushing it against the filter system, it's only allowed to take 35 gallons a minute, and the pumps are pumping 55 gallons a minute. So it's gaining 20 gallons a minute. And it don't take 20 minutes, and now you're sitting there at 100 PSI or more, and that pump's sitting here deadheading, because it's just seeping past at this point. It's creating its own separation inside the pump, separating the air, and the pumps are running dry because the air is getting the air in it, and that's what's running the pumps. There's been 3 pumps now, that's right? We've been doing three of them? 2 pumps, one was repaired already, and both of those are the ones that are in the shop, right?
They, yeah. They repaired that pump under warranty, but,
Right.
Barney's pumps come 4 times, and they did not tell us that. We had a professional Nature Coast Utilities install that pump. He would do his pumps up to 100 horse.
Yeah.
And Barney's pumps come and looked at it, and if there was a problem, they should have told us to start with, instead of letting the pump mess up.
Well, I kind of went at them about that, because I felt that same way. But their clarification is that they sell pumps, they don't design systems, and that's kind of how they kept falling back on that.
Their Barney's pump guy from Jacksonville and Mr. Badger, which was sort of our solution, got together, and they're the ones that come up with those pumps. Barney's pump was involved with that.
Well, I'm not doubting it. Now it's just everybody's trying to backtrack and keep themselves out of it. That's all that's happening. I see.
They're trying to get out of warranty, and that's what they're trying to do.
We definitely are out of the warranty on it. They're saying that is definitely not happening. But the system, we have to put a variable speed control on it that works off of the pressure. so that it slows itself down automatically, which is about $5,000 or $6,000 for one of those. And then you've gotta have a pressure sensor inline, and you still have to have a diaphragm system for it to give, so the pressure fluctuation in the system is not so dramatic when it changes over. When it slows down, we've gotta have the back pressure so that it keeps the pressure consistent through the system. But all this stuff, how high tech we can make it, it can only pump 1,000 gallons and it's gotta stop. And that's all the system can produce in water. Because it'll suck it out of there, and be gone, so it's gotta shut down and wait for the filter system to catch back up and then do it again. So every time we call for water over here, I'm guessing that demands about, what, 2,000, 3,000 gallons below that cuts on?
2,000.
3,000? So when it calls for demand, it needs 3,000 gallons of water. We can only send it 1,000 gallons, and we've got to stop and wait for the filter system to catch back up. And we're gonna do it again. And now grant you, everyone can vouch, this system that we're waiting on is ancient. It's 80 years old, or 75 years old. And the iron side of the system is, it's falling apart. I mean, it is literally, the rusting's getting so bad inside of it, it's clogging up and clogging up and clogging up. And we're only gonna be able to beat that loose in there so long before it busts something inside of it. And we're gonna be sitting here with no, we're gonna be drinking the water out of the creek. And that's where it's gonna come from, because that's, that system, it may be old and antiquated, but it does work, it's just slow. But it is, today's standards is way different than that now. So we definitely gotta look at working on the iron filters, getting that correct, because we're fixing to be stuck without it. I know that's, it's been opened up multiple times and fixed and unclogged inside of it. It's gotten down now, you have to go down that pipe, and you can only get something in there so high. You can only go down about 4 feet inside that shaft you're going down to clear it. And we're at the maximum depth to go down to clear now from what we can get in there without taking the whole thing apart. If you take the whole thing apart, I'll assure you, you won't get it back together. It'll fall apart. So that is something we're gonna have to look into, continue on with the water system. But hopefully, next month, we'll get news back on the water line system, when that's coming through, or an estimated time, so we can see what we need to do. We don't want to spend a bunch of money fixing old equipment. It's less than a year. Supposedly the money's there to pay for it, but getting it all organized and coordinated is something else. It's a big adventure. It's not just us. It's all the CPs going to Needless. You know, that's, I think it was about 70 miles of pipeline, of water main, and 70 miles of line of sewage return line. The same. So the good thing is when water comes on, it goes on board, it gives us a place to build a lift station. Now we can send sewage back to us. That's all that's.
Thank you for taking this on.
Well, that was the water management people, I guess, who getting started it. Yeah.
Well, man,
Yeah, and especially with doing these, hopefully it all works out for everybody and gains from it. I know that I'm saying we gotta fix these things, but I think we need to look at this time frame before we start spending money on this too much. And these pumps, maybe we might just have to patch this thing through just so we can make the filter guys system work. Because here's what we're facing with them, they're not threatening it, but you hear the tone, they've got a lot of money spending that, and they can't operate. And the town is obligated ourselves for them to invest that money. We have to provide them the water for it to work. And otherwise, we're liable for their lawsuit. And so we need to get that back on the line as quick as we can. Trying to minimize the expenses. Basically, next month we should be able to decide, is it going to be a long-term thing or a short-term thing on the pipeline? And if it is short-term, let's patch this thing through just enough to get these guys satisfied so they're not seeing this before this line comes through. Because once the line comes through, we're probably not going to need their system either. And this was all after the fact. That's no one's fault with us that was pursuing this, because the pipeline thing came in after that was pursued. I know, there's only one officer. Oh, yeah, it says July 11th. Oh, yeah, that's it.
It's okay, share. Okay, for new business, we need to change the signers on our Seacoast accounts. Going through the office, we found out there's some Seacoast accounts, but we don't know. They won't tell us at the bank how many there are, what there are. So we have to do just like the last time and sign to remove the previous signers and put new signers for Seacoast.
Grace, while you're doing that, we'll go on to the next thing. So Linda has information for that gentleman about his water.
Oh, okay.
The office has fixed Mr. McNeil's, water bill to remove the $6,800 that was on there prior.
Okay.
So I have a
So the
current
bill
new
is
bill for
good?
him. If
All
he
right.
will send me before he leaves, I'll
Yeah,
give
if
it.
you want that to see her before you leave, she'll give you the cleared paperwork.
I will.
That was easy.
Woo,
All right.
Something to the night.
I didn't have.
No, I never attended the party.
This will be
No.
Nah.
What's the original?
Thank you. All right, the next thing we have is the water rate ordinance, which would be resolution number 2023-2, which you should all have in your packets. So it's a resolution of the town of Otter Creek in Levy County, Florida, establishing revised water rates and related charges and administrative parameters, including hardship relief, superseding prior resolutions, and providing an effective date. Do I need to read the whole thing, Mr. Ward?
Mr. Moore.
Read it.
Do we need to read this resolution entirely? Do we need to read the resolution?
available. So I'd read it by title as long as it's available to the council members.
I just did.
Okay.
Okay, so if you all wanna look that over, you have the ordinance.
This one we got this evening.
Yes. So if you wanna look that over, take your time to look it over.
Why are we changing the ordinance?
Because the last one was done for meter size, which from what I've seen, there's only one different meter size, but the billing in there wasn't even being done by meter size. It was being done by a commercial residential breakdown. And the commercial residential breakdown didn't even reflect the meter size that the ordinance stated. And 4 different people were getting charged the commercial rate, which was based on a 1-inch meter size. And as I was told, the different people had a 5/8 size, which is what they had categorized as the residential, so none of it lined up.
If it's a business, it needs to be commercial rate. Florida Rural Water's done a water study, a rate study, and they're the ones that recommended the way that we, had that other ordinance right up.
So why wasn't the billing reflecting what the ordinance was?
It should have been, built or whatever the size of the meter was.
And where's the study that was done?
And the records in there.
existing records?
It's hard to find anything direct.
I'm sure if you'll get Florida Rural Water, they'll get you a copy of it. What they did, and that was based on just enough to keep this water system going and make a contingency fund, which is supposed to have.
When
I
was this
suggest
done?
that you call them and talk to them before you change the ordinance.
Well, I think the ordinance is just reflecting that residential will be charged as residential and commercial will be done differently. I think that's what this is missing.
It's just all one price, and I was never advised about a study being done. I mean, didn't Mr. Warren know about this study?
Mr. Moore was the one that's done the last ordinance, resolution that we did, change the water rate.
On the recommendation of something, but I didn't have the study per se, and I really don't know what the study said.
And we can't
I
find
would
it.
suggest that though, if there is a study that is inconsistent with what's being proposed now, and makes some sense, it comes from an authoritative source, it ought to be consulted, and you probably ought to table this resolution until you check out what the study is, and then see if it changes your consideration. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Okay, so,
I believe that study was done back when we went from 2,000, 4,000, and 2,000 a gallon, wasn't it? I think it was based on
Yes,
the amount of
we
usage.
went from 4 to 2.
Right,
Yes.
that was the study based on that?
Yes.
so if you wanna table that for now.
Just to be clear, from my perspective, I don't see anything wrong with the resolution that's in front of you now. But if it's inconsistent with some formal study that's been done, then I think it pays to look at that study and just analyze the logic of that.
Well, I would agree, that's why I did ask ahead of
The
time.
resolution, the more expert input you get, the better. And
Right, that's why I asked ahead of time.
All right, thank you for this.
This- And another new, will be attending the August meeting, just grants and explain to everybody what our grants are. They'll explain what we have left, what it can be used for. They'll explain all the technical side, so whoever attends the meeting, if you have any questions about the grants, I would have them prepared ahead of time because they're very knowledgeable and can answer all your questions, so we'll know everything there is to know about the grants. So just to let you know, a heads up to get your questions ready for them. They'll be at the August meeting. And the next thing we have under new business is our library and the use of the library. So I have not seen anybody use this library, and there's boxes of books sitting in the other building and in the other room. So I think we need to reevaluate the use of the library, whether we wanna keep it, if we do keep it, downsizing it, because there's too many books here, there's too many books sitting in boxes in the other room, and it's fine if we wanna keep the library, but I think it might be a good idea to discuss downsizing it. So,
I'll make a motion, we downsize it. You know, nobody's using the library.
Not because it's been locked up.
And have somebody make it into those little, like they got in Gum Hammock, on the side of the road.
I'll take
the
the
boxes,
motion.
The little
yeah,
box.
The motion. Before we dispose of anything, let's at least offer out to the people in town.
yeah, absolutely.
That they have kids or grandkids or someone they want these things that they can come in and take those for that use. Because we
Yeah,
want to use.
Yeah, any of
There's
the
not
books,
any
the citizens will have first pick, we're not just gonna throw them in the trash. But there is just too much, and we downsize it, not get rid of it, but downsize it and make better use of the space, stuff in boxes, and
school?
Mhm.
Donating some of them to the school?
Yeah, after the citizens go through them and take what they want, we'll get in touch with schools to donate them, or see if the library or the county wants them, so.
Most libraries, they provide an internet service.
Right.
You think we're gonna be able to provide that since we're downsizing, the part of it?
Yeah, that's definitely something we can look into more when getting prices for the
I
internet.
think we should include that. You know,
Yeah, it's definitely something to look at, and I will.
the small libraries, like really found,
Right.
to.
And that's originally what that second line was supposed to be, but for some reason I can't
I can't explain either.
I can't
thought
explain
it
that,
was-
but
I
yeah,
thought it was up and running.
when I check the prices, I'll check on that as well.
I appreciate that. I think the town would appreciate that.
Right. Yeah.
The town needs it. There's
Yeah.
people here that can't afford it, and they need to have a place to go to.
Okay, so we have a motion to downsize, was there a second to that?
Yes, I'll say.
All in favor?
I'll go along with that.
Okay, unanimous. Okay, another thing a lot of people have been talking about is having a volunteer day to clean up in the future. I don't know if anyone wants to discuss. I would recommend doing that in a month that's a little cooler.
Yes.
But I think we should start talking about that and planning that for the future. So if there's anybody that would like to sign up to be a volunteer, or anyone that would sign up they want their yard cut, or they need help doing anything, they can come to the town hall and discuss getting help or being help, and we'll talk about doing that in probably a couple of months when it's a little cooler.
Yeah, basically two lists, a list of people who want to volunteer their time and services, and a list of people who need services provided in the town that can't afford or need help or can't physically do and need help with doing it. That way we can have both sides working together. There's more bond and trust between.
Maybe a list
We got
of
the
resources too.
You need to put that on the list.
With me.
You need to put that on that list.
I think if we brought in a dumpster, like for a week or so, as a bulk, disposal area.
Yeah.
I'd keep it there permanently because.
Well, yeah.
You know what happens.
Of course.
Well, you know, for a week, 7 days or something, where people can bring stuff that they normally can't
Yeah.
dispose of.
So we can
I think
take
that would be a big help.
Yeah. Right.
The problem with
Actually,
dumpsters-
to take that time to plan and do this. in a
Those aren't
couple
mine,
months.
Mr. Hales.
Hey, wait.
Those are not
Now, I
mine.
have been guilty myself of throwing food on Dead Dog Road. Because that's what we've always done. You know what I mean? And Guff Hammock Hunting Club and Flat Branch Hunt Club come from the woods. That's the only way to get in and out, not as you go to Guff Hammock. They come from out of the woods, take a right, get rid of all their trash on Dead Dog Road, hit the other road over there, and then head out of town.
I personally don't even know why that is a road.
I don't know,
It cuts through
a
their
Flat Branch,
property.
Guff Hammock, and we've done cleaned it up since the 5 years that I've been back in Otter Creek, have we not?
Yes, it's been cleaned up several times.
Yeah, the
More
problem is
than
they
once.
keep something there.
Gail, I have to ask you,
Huh?
didn't I ask you where the road was?
Yes, you asked me where the road was, and I told you, but yes.
Thank you very much.
It would be nice if they
Yeah.
would fence
Now, I have
that
been
road
guilty of
off,
throwing old food out of the trees.
because that road does go through a timber property. It would be nice if they fenced it off.
The downfall of the dumpster is that the expense of the dumpster, if people throw the wrong things in there, that dumpster fee goes from $500 to $2,000 to
You're talking
$5,000.
about paint and tires and stuff.
Right, and you know that, and it's happened in the past,
Yeah,
you know?
Well, also, we have successor.
Well, it needs, that needs to be combined with the cleanup, so that way someone's there when we're all doing it, so the correct stuff's being thrown in, and then it goes on its way.
It's gonna be a limited time campaign, it's not gonna be out there.
We'll have a few months to plan it and get what would be, we'll get prices on that, and other people do have trailers, but if people come together, we can get some stuff done.
So can we do something with the road before hunting season starts?
I'll try to get in touch with the timber company and
Did we
see.
cut it off?
I mean, that would be ideal, if they would put a fence on both sides,
Can
because
I
it
give
goes right
Russell
through
a
the
big
property.
I want to go know Russell, please sit there. 44 years. Haven't moved, I'm proud of you, Russell. You always stand up and say, shut up, sit down.
That's not,
You didn't do it
it's
this
not
time,
time for
yeah.
public comment.
Okay.
No comments coming.
It's not.
Okay, so if anybody would like to be a volunteer or would like to have things done at their property, please get in touch with us. You can call us, you can email us, and we'll be setting that up for the future in the next couple of months. So to get that rolling, you can get in touch with us and let us know what you would like or any ideas for that, and we'll be talking about that more in the future.
Can you come to Chief?
Hopefully we'll get that webpage set up and we can interact that right through it.
Yeah, that
Those
would make
programs and
things a
stuff.
lot easier.
And, you can see the dates coming up on that, you can register on that eventually.
Okay.
For both, for services and to provide services.
All right, since we have a lot to go through, I'm gonna try to go through a few things a little faster. Just for everyone to know, if you wanna sign up to get your water bill emailed, please get in touch with us and give us an email address. You'll get your bill faster and it saves on postage and ink and paper and all that stuff. So get in touch with us and give us your email address. The next thing that I wanted to talk about with Sam's Club, we have an account with the, well, I assumed it was with the town, but I'm finding out that it's under Mary's personal debit card with the town's ID, tax ID tied to it. I don't know if that's been going on the whole time.
Do we have any invoices from Sam's?
They sent an email saying your account has been renewed, so I went down to Sam's to ask them about the account, and they said that our tax ID is tied to her personal account.
So she just hasn't been paying taxes and stuff.
Correct. So,
Oops.
I don't, just wanted to keep you updated on what's going on. Now, the next thing, the water bills, we've now put the breakdown on the water bills, and we've looked into doing the online payment. They can set it up for $250 a year. We still need to get in touch with the bank and see if there's an additional charge for that. So we're still talking about that, but we'll revisit it when we get the final pricing and see if everybody wants to move forward with doing online payments. The late fees have been reinstated because we had waived them that 1 month while everything was airing. So just to let you know, we'll be back revisiting after we talk to the bank. But they are doing the online payments this summer, so that is something we can have in the future. Also going through paperwork, we found out that there was a town cell phone that's missing. I don't know where that went. It was an Apple iPhone 7 that was purchased at the end of 2019. I would have thought with all the equipment we had in here that that would still be here, but it's missing. If anybody knows who has this phone, the number is 949-3881. They're in possession of a stolen cell phone, so you might want to let them know.
You said it was an Apple?
Yeah, it's an Apple iPhone 7.
Is it active?
When I tried to
Is it
call,
still on?
well, not that we're paying for it, but it is still on.
Did you do a locator thing?
I have not, there's been too much to do.
Okay.
That has to be activated with the phone before you can actually.
So, we do also have some loss of revenue from the 2021 audit was never uploaded. I don't know why it wasn't ever uploaded, but I guess the clerk was supposed to get back with the CPA to let them know after they presented it to the board to upload it, and unfortunately, even in emails and letters she received, she never called them back. So we did lose on some of our revenues. I called them, it's been reinstated, so our future revenues will be good. There was also discrepancies in that audit. The annual financial report needs to be corrected within 30 days or we will be losing more revenues and withholding funds. So just when I was talking about how important it is to have the clerk and all these serious deadlines that we are under because the ball was dropped, we have that needs to be done in 30 days, and it's kind of hard when the bank accounts have not been reconciled for several years. So there's a lot of discrepancies. There's things missing. So it's very important that we have a clerk. There's a lot of things that are all due at the same time. We have upcoming trim, the budget. Last year, the trim wasn't submitted. So we're got a hand slap for that, and we're told in a letter that was sent out and ignored that it'll be fine for that time, but anything coming up this year, we will be fined for any mistakes. And unfortunately, another thing that I don't understand coming into this town, there's no calendars with deadlines wrote. If you have an established business, town, whatever, all these things should be put in place so that people can come in and get things done. I've never worked anywhere that doesn't have SOP for everything done. And it's just walking into a mess of somebody who just cared. And they didn't do the things that need to be done. So now there's people coming in, nothing about trim, know nothing about a budget and all the deadlines.